Hello, my name is Erik Strand. I'm a student at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse studying exercise and sports science. In this video, I'll be talking about body composition and how it changes over the lifespan. Before I get started, I'm going to display a couple disclaimers. This video will go over how body composition changes with age and ways to slow this change. However, before I go over how body composition changes through the lifespan, it's important to have a basic understanding of what body composition is. Just as the name says, body composition describes the different parts that compose or make up the body. The body can be broken down a few different ways into different component groups: fat mass, muscle, water, and bone. However, the simplest way to break down body composition is called a two-component model, in which the two components are only fat mass and non-fat mass. In the two-component model, muscle, water, and bone are all included in the non-fat mass category. There are a handful of ways to measure body composition, from measuring the thickness of skin folds to X-ray scans. While I won't go into details on that, the majority of these methods focus on finding body density to be used in calculations to find body fat percentage. One thing to keep in mind when measuring body composition is that it's important to be consistent with the method of measurement to get the most accurate results, especially when tracking changes over time. While different methods may calculate slightly different body fat percentages, using the same method each time a measurement is done is the best way to keep accurate results that are consistent with each other. For example, a skin fold test and an X-ray scan might yield different results if done at the same time on the same individual. Both can be used to track changes over time, just as long as they're used consistently, instead of using a different method each time a measurement is done. Why is it important to be aware of body composition? Because it focuses directly on the relation of fat mass and non-fat mass, body composition is a better indicator of an individual's health than other measures such as weight or BMI. Because these measures depend only on body mass, rather than the difference between fat mass and fat-free mass, they can be misleading. This is especially true for individuals with higher concentrations of muscle mass, such as athletes, who are generally considered to be in very good health. Body composition is a valuable tool in the identification of diseases, both at hand and disposition for future disease risk. While an individual can look healthy on the outside, they could have a higher concentration of visceral fat, that is, fat surrounding the internal organs, which can pose a far greater health risk than subcutaneous fat, fat that is just beneath the skin but is not around the internal organs. While a high amount of body fat can put individuals at higher risk regardless of where it's stored, visceral fat surrounding organs can pose a much greater health risk than subcutaneous fat for health problems such as diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and cancers of the internal organs. Even with a healthy BMI, high amounts of visceral fat are associated with a higher risk for these health issues. It is important to note here that it is possible to have a higher concentration of visceral fat while keeping a lean appearance. Even though visceral fat is harder to measure without a sort of body scan, it is beneficial to have an idea of overall body composition to have the best knowledge of disease risk. Now, my intent is not to convince people that they need to get expensive body scans, but rather to simply be mindful of their body and their health, and to know that it is important to make healthy choices, even if there appears to be no difference on the outside. Since body composition is based on what makes up the body rather than an amount of mass, an individual's body composition can change even if weight does not. In most individuals, body composition becomes less lean over time, even while weight, and size for that matter, might not drastically change. The biggest compositional change that happens in most individuals is with the body's muscle mass. The presence of muscle mass is related to how often we use it. So, keeping the muscles engaged through training or physical activity stimulates the upkeep of our muscle tissue. However, extended periods of time without use will lead to a gradual loss of this muscle tissue. In many individuals, muscle mass, or more specifically the cross-sectional area of the body's muscle, decreases over time due to the muscle fibers shrinking in size from lack of use. A common misconception is that this is due to aging, but that's not entirely true. While most individuals do lose muscle mass as they age, it is primarily caused by the gradual decrease in physical activity that is common while getting older rather than age itself. Because we now know that this decline can largely be attributed to inactivity, we have a clear solution for how to prevent this decline as well. As I mentioned before with muscle and lean tissue, especially in periods of time without training, muscle will begin to atrophy or decrease in size, strength, and effectiveness. So, in order to combat this atrophy, the solution is physical activity and exercise. The most basic goal should just be to get the blood pumping harder than it does at rest each day. Like most things in the realm of health, it is much better to act proactively rather than reactively. Staying active is the best way to keep muscles engaged and healthy, which helps prevent muscle atrophy, the biggest problem in declining body composition. The term use it or lose it is really the key here. To keep our muscles healthy, we need to use them on a consistent basis. Here are some simple activities that can be done by people with various levels of ability to help maintain good body composition when done in moderate amounts. Walking, running, hiking, biking, and swimming. Additionally, the American Center for Disease Control recommends that individuals get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise each week, or 75 minutes of high intensity exercise each week. Exercise helps with improving body composition by requiring the body to burn more calories, which is a form of energy used by the body. This, combined with a reduced dietary intake, can leave the body in a caloric deficit. A caloric deficit is a state in which more calories are being used as fuel than are being taken in and stored. The body needs to use energy one way or another, and if it cannot get enough through food, it will start to use stored fat for energy as well. By using these fat stores as a source for the body's energy, the body's amount of fat mass will gradually decrease, which improves body composition. Exercise also helps with disease risk by making the heart work harder. This causes the heart to become stronger as a result of a higher stress level, preventing against heart disease, the leading cause of death in the United States. The most important thing I want you to take away from this video is to know that aging by itself does not play a large role in declining body composition. Staying active goes a long way to preserve good body composition and help lower the risk of disease. Thank you for watching.